Hey everybody, I was reading today in my little devotional journal that I have, and today we read John 8. And so I want to show you what it says real fast. It says, Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, but early the next morning he was back again at the temple, and a crowd soon gathered, and he sat down and taught them. And as he was speaking, the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery, and they put her in front of the crowd. Teacher, they said to Jesus, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. The law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? They were trying to trap him into saying something that they could use against him. But Jesus stooped down, wrote in the dust with his finger, and they kept demanding an answer. So he soon stood up and said, all right, but let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. I think one of the things, I've heard this passage before, I'm sure you have too. One of the things that really stood out to me was verse 5. The law of Moses gave him every right to throw that first stone. But one thing that's interesting that I note here that's true about us is that God is not afraid of your past. I think sometimes it's easy to think like God is afraid and you can't bring your stuff to him. But it's very clear here that even though he had every right to, he chose not to. And so you can bring that to him. You can bring your fear, your past, your sin, the things you've messed up, the things you're afraid of, the things you're ashamed of. You can bring those to him. But let's flip the table real quick.
Well. How the turntables...
Because there's probably some other people in your life who you know have messed up, you know have fallen short. And what about them? What about if even it's justified, it's even okay, just like this said in verse 5, that it was justified by the law of Moses. If it's justified, how do you treat that person? Do you want to be like the Pharisee and pick up the first stone? Do you want justice? Do you demand it to be right? Or do you look at them through the eyes of Jesus with grace and mercy and compassion? So that's just a little challenge I want you guys to think about today. Who do you need to forgive in your life, in your immediate circle of influence?